Welcome, Star Wars Force Arena players, to this brand new update news LOL video. Netmarble have announced some update news today. I would have posted it earlier on, but it really just isn't worth getting excited about, to be quite honest with you, because there's so much little being changed in the game, and I was waiting to do a video expecting some serious news in terms of updates and changes and things, but you know, maybe I expected too much. Let's jump right in and have a good laugh. I mean, look at the patch notes. So straight in there, Dryden Vos is being buffed. And the reason for that apparently is because, this is Netmarble's reason, but we'll talk about the real reason after. Netmarble say that because of his rage skillity being too short and the difficulty of utilising it, many squad leaders did not give much thought into using Dryden Vos when he first arrived. So a decision was made to increase skill duration, so get ready to use Dryden Vos in the battlefield. So that basically his double tap cooldown reduction has been increased from 70 to 75%, and it now lasts 1 second longer, from 7 up to 8 seconds for his rage ability. That's Netmarble's reason, but the real reason why people aren't playing him, one, yes, he is difficult to play, and a lot of people don't understand it. I saw somebody trying to zigzag through like tech units in 2v2. I was like, well mate, they don't bleed. You can't bleed tech units. Anyway, unless they get an oil leak. And then the real reason I think is the fact that people just don't want to spend money right now in the game. You think of where the whales are who do all spend all the money, and a lot of them are just so upset with 3.0, they're just not spending the money they would. So they don't use him because they have to upgrade him, and they don't see value in upgrading him right now. That's the real reason I think. Why would you spend money on upgrading the leader like this when the game isn't the condition and state it's in right now? That's my theory. And then moving on to a really bizarre one, and this is going to be a game breaker, there's no doubt about it in my mind. Bossk. So a while back they nerfed Bossk because he was just dealing out damage, and obviously because of his health, his extra energy that he gets when he kills somebody. It caused problems, so they nerfed him a while back, and it was a while ago, and apparently because of that people don't use him anymore, don't play him anymore in 1 versus 1, but in 2v2 the skill could be used continuously, which is why they made the change. So rather than just make a slight adjustment or just, you know, monitor it a bit more, because Bossk isn't really, you know, Bossk isn't fun to play, let's face it, but some people, I hear you, do like playing him. They've reduced his skill now from 40 seconds to 20. They've halved it, and that is going to completely break 2v2, especially when you're up with players who suicide turrets like the Dryden Vosses, the Rays, the Maws, the Yodas, Lukes. Those who just charge down, you charge the turrets down, and you think, what on earth are you doing? And they die over and over and over again. Bossk is going to have a field day with that in 2v2. Bizarre change. You know, they couldn't make it 30 seconds, perhaps a 25, but they've just halved it. That isn't balance. That's just ridiculous. Anyway, Droideka, he's apparently been used too much on a battlefield, and he's highly competitive and too efficient apparently against enemies. So they're making him a bit more vulnerable to physical attacks. So they're reducing his health down from 705 to 636. Now in 2v2, they've reduced all of the epic card levels from 4 down to 3. But most, well in fact all the cards, perhaps the original cards, had a slight increase in their level 1. So hit points were increased, I think, and also damage output was increased on most of the units. So how that will play out I don't know, because right now you can't kill a Droideka with a Y-Wing, which costs the same energy. Unless you're with Poe, of course. X-Wing won't even scratch it, and the only unit that can kill it is an X-Wing T70, which costs 5. But of course, then you've got the snipers will kill it quickly. BB-8 will convert it in a blink. So there are cars out there that can take care of it relatively quickly. So it's a bizarre change, but we'll see how that plays out. Speaking of bizarre, my old pal Nien Numb. For those of you who hung around from the early days, this is the card I'd only ever get when I unpacked anything in the game, even Bossk. But Nien Numb again isn't effective in combat, so a lot of players don't use him really. So what they're doing is now his attack speed is changed from 1.2 seconds to 1 second, so he'll attack faster. Oh, sorry, attack a little bit slower. Evasion distance is increased from 3 meters to 3.5, and AI recognizes approaching enemies and avoiding it by jumping backwards will be improved. And the cooldown time on that will be decreased by 30%. Bizarre change on Nien Numb, so we'll see how that pans out with its DPS changes and all that sort of stuff. So, I mean, you think about it, really, he's a good card to play with Lando, but if you've got better cards, and there are better cards than Nien Numb, you put those in your deck for that energy cost for 2. And then probably the most bizarre change of all is a Talz Marauder stroke army. The Talz army is one of the units that specialise in melee combat. However, due to its slow speed, this unit is easily eliminated before even approaching the target. So with the first order riot troopers, they were too fast, so they slowed them down, and these are too slow, so they're speeding them up. And obviously before they could reach a turret, for example, they'd just get obliterated, and they did, and they do. So everything and anything, you sneeze and they're all dead. It's a bizarre change because really these aren't, although yes, they'll make an attack on a turret, and if you use a drop pod, for example, to take the turret's attention away, they will make it to a turret and they will take down a turret. But most cards can do that anyway, like a first order riot trooper, for example, if you take the focus away from the turret. But most people use the Talz army really to take down the heavy tech units, and they just beat the hell out of it and it's gone in a blink. So interesting change. The Marauder speed for the energy cost card 2 has been increased from 2.7 to 3.7, so it's 1 second faster, and the actual army has been increased by 0.5 seconds. That's it. That is it. That's all we're getting. I was surprised because I really thought Darth Maul would be nerfed after seeing him in the blind draw. But obviously the blind draw now seems to be a continuous thing to make us spend crystals in the game now, because we've got the one that's on at the moment with Ben Kenobi and Count Dooku. And it's very unusual to have 2 blind draws back to back like that. It doesn't really happen, but obviously Netmarble are like, well, we need to get people spending their crystals. And this is probably the only thing they've got to give to us right now. Other changes are just meh. The interesting one for me is number 2 on the list, where the data card quest turrets levels at level 1. That's been fixed. I thought that was a bug. I couldn't believe it when I saw it with my own eyes in the video I made, but it is a bug, and that's been fixed. It's only taken them 4 weeks. Don't panic, everyone. And again, pause the video. And also, they fix an issue where if the leader was intimately disturbed, it will not move for a amount of time. This was fixed in ranked and arcade. Other game modes, it will not be. It will be fixed in the future. Is this what it's coming down to now? They're getting like EA, where they're just leaving things broken and fixing it at a later date because they're becoming really lazy. I don't know. It's just a strange one. That if you're fixing it, why not just fix it and be done with it, rather than going back to it and leaving it broken? This is my favourite one as well, where the Azulum spotter stops attacking when Cassian Andor's leader. That just made me laugh when I saw that. I thought, was that actually a thing? And this one actually here. Now, this is interesting. I played a game today with a card, and I was caught in a pike trap as well, and I couldn't attack. I just stood there. I was in range, and I couldn't attack. So it isn't just Jyn Erso who attacks. Jyn in a pike trap! It doesn't just affect her. It affects, I think, a lot of leaders with a gun. So that's interesting to see if that fixes that. At the bottom there, you've got some tooltip changes, which is just basically text. The ability works okay, but it's just how to describe that ability is what's been adjusted to make it suit what's actually going on in the game. And that is it. That is our update. We've waited 2 and a bit weeks for. Solo's been out now for just over a month, and it is disappointing that Netmarble haven't even bothered to acknowledge or respond to the concerns of the player base. They just continue to do this, and it is upsetting. It's really, really upsetting, because we all love this game. We like playing this game. We want to play this game, but Netmarble are doing their best to push us away. But we've talked about that in other videos. Anyway, let me know what you think about the update in the comments below, and I will see you in the next Star Wars Force Arena video. May the Force be with you.